Boom, we're back.
Shit, bitch.
Good evening.
Guten Abend, meine Dame.
Hi. I'll put that back now. No, even put the lights on. Adam, do you want to put the lights on?
Okay, the studio change.
I've been so distracted.
Good evening and welcome to A Line and Unknown.
Are we live?
Yes! That's why I suddenly went, oh no, this looks different to how it normally does.
Oh shit, bitch.
Give it a couple of minutes, the lights will pick up.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, hello.
We could also like open the blinds or some shit like that.
No, good God, no.
Don't want natural light.
Nat one.
That one.
Strong light.
That one. True light.
Hello. The lovelies have been doing the acting and the audio describing and the general pottering around the flat, annoying Adam when he gets home to nighting. And I have been doing other things. I don't know what they were. There were notes for tonight. Anyway, welcome to episode 8. We're nearly at double digits.
Happy birthday, Matt Mercer, for yesterday.
What happened to Matt Mercer?
Oh yeah,
Wasn't Matt Mercer's
Yesterday was
birthday?
his birthday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to the bard.
Happy birthday
Can I
to
wish you straw then? Happy birthday.
happy birthday to
Just got
the
really
beautiful
fine.
one of the Trinity.
They're all beautiful.
I don't know. Chris Perkins is gorgeous, but I can definitely see that I would be going for Matt Mercer specifically for looks, whereas Chris Perkins wins in the personality game, and I'm happy to say that.
They're all kind of glowy to me.
And then it depends on what Trinity you're doing. There's technically the English one from Matt Humes, Sherlock Humes on the Twitter. He's currently streaming his live show that started 2 hours ago, so we didn't time ours well at all, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, he does that there high rollers, and he's beautiful.
No matter what you say.
Because words can. Sorry.
No, there's a 5 for deception, I'm sorry. The only person on high rollers who is attractive is Chris Trott. I'm going to throw it out there now. The rest of them are just English people, and they are fucking ugly by necessity. It's the rain, tea, and ugliness is what we do. Anyway, you're all English listeners, I apologise.
You okay, Steve?
No, no, no! Anyway, yes. There's the Matthew Colville, who is just... Anyway, Trinities, go look them up. You'll work them out. Find out which DM you like, and then don't tell me, because I couldn't give a fuck. Anyway.
What are you doing? Sorry. What?
What's going on?
Pulling bits off the fake grass.
I haven't done.
So yes. Announcement time. Let's find out if there's any announcements from the loves. The announcement is?
You've got something to show.
Oh yeah, Wednesday's the third. Is Wednesday the third? Wednesday the third in Sheffield. I had this corner, same place as I'm performing with Little Chicago. So go or don't. It's a free country, but please do, so that it's not a wasted journey. Please support local artists.
It's been a long day of theatre over the past few days.
I'm so fucking tired.
Today's going to be one of those episodes where I don't
time
do
did
a
we
lot
leave?
of asking of people.
We left the White at 3.
Not the why.
Oh, fuck, I'm
The
sorry.
arena.
We left the arena at 3. I sent my last message on Facebook at 4:42.
Yeah, something
And I
like
started listening to Greg Davis at 5. And then I woke up at 7:30 because birds were nesting outside my hotel window and they were squawking like they were being attacked. And they weren't. They're just dicks.
I mean, I didn't wake up till
Squawk
10,
is
but
squawk, squawk.
but yeah, about 4:35ish.
Camera moving is fun in the middle of streaming, you asshole.
Onwards!
Anyway.
Any more notes?
Anyone else? Anyone else got any more announcements?
I think we do.
Rough draft? Rough draft
Rough
again.
draft last week.
4th Tuesday of every month.
So the next one's the 25th, 26th
I think
of
it's
July.
26th.
Something like that. That'll be coming up. We'll announce that closer to the date properly.
Yeah. On
Um,
my phone. Oh, it's on charge.
Announcements in terms of podcast. There will be no stream next week. It is the 7th. We announced this last week, don't worry. Just doing it again so you're actually listening. There will be no stream next week. There will be a podcast, however, and there will be a YouTube if I do my job properly, but I try
We
not
don't
to.
pre-record.
We
We're
did
smart.
a pre-record.
Smart.
We're
You'll
smart.
be hearing
Smart.
what happened, find out how that there slasher and that there scarrow got into this world.
Why have you gone all West Country?
Because I have accental Torrance. Every now and then I'll go
Me
to
too.
Irish, I'll go to Cornish, and
Slasher made an appearance at the weekend, didn't she?
Good love you, yeah.
Neil Redden was very confused.
Was it drunk?
He was like, why are you speaking Welsh?
Oh, so we get people from Seattle to understand the 4 different accents there are in and around Wolverhampton. They're like, but we can't. They're all just
terrible.
incomprehensible. Good old mate, can't you sit down? Oh, mate, it's just going to be from Wolverhampton, Martini. You fucking shit.
Anyhow, right.
I'm a wizard,
That's
bitch.
announcements.
Shit,
There's
bitch.
not a lot else to tell you. Streams will be picking up proper back on the 14th of July.
I'm voting, by the way.
So, anyway, right, if you're happy, I'm happy.
Onwards!
Let us go to the theme slide.
Hey!
There will be a couple of minutes of silence whilst we all kind of just work out how to be professional for a little bit longer because this is the closest professional we've done as an open ever. Jesus fuck. Anyway,
Feeling the case that at least
We're all
really tired.
I'm not tired, I've just given
How
up.
are you tired?
I've been doing things. I haven't done things in
Oh my
ages. It
gosh.
takes its time.
Any
So hard.
as the bitching starts, we'll go to the theme slide. Back in a mood.
Hi!
Hello.
Technical difficulties. Apparently the theme slide isn't working anymore. You saw the picture, obviously, for the podcast. You saw nothing. Anyway, but there was a moment of silence. Some people pay for that. some
It's
days.
nice. It's nice to have silence.
It is. It's a thing that I would. I would pay for if I didn't have enough of it on my Saturdays. Anywho, thank you. Let's get back to this. I'll fix that next time. Let us do what is to be done, and then we will continue. As always, by the way, I have the Twitch chat open. If you fancy shouting something at me, right there, I'll giggle and probably not read it until the later parts of the game. Right, previously. Oh, by the way, just in case, because I've been trying to remember what dates are, you should be starting the 12th of winter?
I've got them down.
Oh, I got the 10th.
I've got last day is the 10th, but if we're travelling...
It might be...
Yeah, so
mix up some days.
the day that you get your letter, we
Was the
said
10th?
was the 10th.
Okay, 10th.
So
10th it
if
is.
we're still there.
I'm going mad, it's alright. I've been doing some maths and stuff every now and then, and it's trying to make sure everything's in place. Everything's in its proper place.
If you haven't got paper, not paperclip,
Paperclip.
Right. After spending 2 days in the ruins of Longsaddle, the group left as Klaxis finished his bonfire masterpiece and started to head north towards the Lurkwood and Menzoberranzan. On the first night of travel, the group observed a small garrison of possibly mercenaries or militia heading up the long road and chalked it down to the recent giant attack in Mirabar. It was noted that the only insignia notable on the armours were that of Felix's fine goods. Heading off the beaten track to the edge of the Lurkwood, Klaxis noticed some smoke coming from a few miles within the woods, and they stumbled upon the cottage of Alan, an elderly halfling that seemed to have a pet displacer beast in grey render and wasn't Alan Bennett. Alan once lived with another person in the cottage, but he couldn't remember his name. Apparently, he used to scribe through cross-stitch patterns, and Alan had picked up a bit of the trick himself. Doozy, Alan's pet displacer beast, returned with one of her kittens, and the group bedded down as Planchett fussed the kitten. During the night, Planchett was approached by her patron again, this time asking for her to find a way to Stygia, a layer of the Nine Hells, and to research a man from there called Geryon. Klaxis dreamed of an overcast day in an ever-stretching crop field, and the Raven Queen being just off in the distance. And finally, Ellipsis awoke suddenly during the night to discuss religion and applied knowledge with Hororae, before revealing that he had somehow regained his connection with his deity. He had merely just had a good teacher when it came to Boggle. Awaking the next morning, the group's breakfast was disturbed by a knock at the door. Klaxis answered, rather fortuitously for the courier knocking, who delivered his telegraph and was on his way. Apparently, Klaxis' father had died recently, and the mortuary had sent a note. Deciding he wanted to put some distance between him and his home, Klaxis requested that the group push on to Menzoberranzan. Right. This is where we dropped off before we go back into the game, though.
Kevin's not a dick.
No, my iPad. It does it on purpose. Kevin doesn't work the shuffle function of an iPad's music file. Anyway, before this is something that you guys won't know in character, but this is for you guys at home and for you guys to pick up the world narrative that is going on. Evening of the 9th of winter, and people are sat around in the Stone Bear Tavern in the middle of Mirabar, in the under level of Mirabar. And they are currently somewhat dishevelled and bruised from the beating that was the giant attack on the city, and everyone's kind of just in a morbid sense of there's no kind of atmosphere to the room other than a hanging dread and anger towards anything that comes at the city. Everyone's murmuring and having chats in their respective booths and tables when one person decides that he has had enough. A black-haired, slicked-back, goateed, slim-looking man in formal clothing, a waistcoat pinstriped and a white linen shirt underneath, steps up onto his table and says, "I think that it is time that we took things into our own hands. It is too long since the last time Mirabar has taken any acceptable kind of response to any attack we've ever had. It's always been, oh no, it was a water deep issue, or oh no, it's something to do with the no man's land to the east. However, I think we need someone to put the blame on. This running of councils needs to be ended, and I believe we should put forward a king once more. And as he's doing this, the people around the pub have kind of stopped and are listening in some kind of like mock belief and such, as they think it's just a drunken man standing on the table, just shouting his thoughts off. But one or two of them have a look of recognition and of interest in the subject that he's talking about. And at this point, as the door opens and the militia that had just been marching up the long road enters the bar behind, almost narrative timed, stands behind this gentleman on the table, and he calls forth to action for a new age of rule. That the narrative camera zooms back out. We'll come back to you three. Or 4, technically, because, 5 if you want to count the NPC as well. But, yes. That happens.
6 if you count Boggle.
I mean, Boggle isn't a person.
Boggle's got a smoke. He's wearing a face.
He's wearing a face.
Boggle's a person.
But he hasn't got a personality like Pivot, because the owner wasn't trying to do a thing. Anyway,
I don't know what you're implying.
You had an argument a couple of episodes ago where
I know.
he isn't a thing.
Anyway.
I know. Anyway, yes. So you guys are just leaving the Lurkwood. You've walked back about the hour or so to get to the edge of the woods, and you're back staring down over the juxtaposed land that spreads out before you. It's an overcast day with the peaks of the Sword Mountain directly in front of you, and turning back towards your destination, you can see the kind of frozen wasteland that is the Evermoors stretching out to the southeast of you. There are...
Oh.
Hello, we will be back now. Hopefully the internet is working again. We don't know what happened. There are technical difficulties, you see, and every now and then I couldn't seem to work out what was going on, and my God.
I blame Tom Scott.
Yes.
Who's Tom Scott?
The guy who's part of the Technical Difficulties podcast.
Oh, okay.
I blame Steve Archer and his lack of knowledge and equipment. If we were going to do a stream, surely he should have had more, but...
Sign up to our Patreon so we can get better equipment so this shit doesn't happen.
Unless you can pay for a recording studio with better internet, none of us have it. Yeah. Excuse me.
Beach.
Let's do a quick catch up, and then we'll see where we were. So you guys, we just did a catch up. That'll be in the previous bit. Don't worry. Oh my God, the camera is even better on this version. Maybe I should have stayed on Wi-Fi all along. Anyway.
Maybe.
Anyway, so yeah, we just did the catch up. That was fun. We did announcements. There won't be a stream next week. This is all in the podcast, just in case you're joining in early. Yes, we then had a brief interlude where Solus was apparently telling the people of the Stone Bearing that we need to return to a monarchy and not the political landscape that we are currently in Veyron, and we shall see where that goes next. We joined back with the guys as they were coming out of the Lurkwood and noticed some horses to the east, a day's travel away.
Are they on the right direction to where we actually?
They are indeed. They're following the Lurkwood round. Essentially, is the quickest route you've got to Menzoberranzan where you are.
Well, I suggest we head over to the horses then. I think it will be interesting to see how well you. I mean, I'm not going to be on my own.
I'll give you a hand.
We all need a.
Well, yeah, but we can all look after one horse each.
Yeah.
So we'll let her tame a single horse for herself. I think that's a great idea.
Let's see what happens.
Well, I managed to displace the beast.
Suzy, I think that's a great idea, Prof. It's a great idea. Congratulations.
I don't think you tamed the displacer beast. I think it was already quite tame.
Just let me have my moment with the cat. The really big cat and the tentacles.
I think I'm the kitten, don't worry.
And the kitten with the tentacles. So cute.
So, yes, quite. So you guys start to head off. The cool winds whipping at your backs. You can't seem to work out which way the winds are coming from today. They were coming from the north over the spine of the world, but it seems that in this area around the Evermoors, they are just constantly changing their directions.
Can I do a perception check, please?
Yes, you may.
I rolled. Ooh! Sorry, I don't know why I went ooh. It's not a particularly impressive number, it's just a number, as if it surprised me. 14.
14. Lovely. So, as you're looking around, as you're looking around, you can see the tree line to your left. You can see the stretching meadows and swampland to the more southeast of you. And every now and then, you see a raven flutter off between the tree lines to your left. Lovely. So you guys travel along. You make good time. There's not a lot that happens. It's about midday, coming up to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon when you start to get close enough to see yourselves these horses in quite close proximity. They're still a good few hours away from you, but you start to notice them even closer up. There is about 7 or 8 of them dotted around the estuary that is coming out of the Lurkwood. Forgot where my brain was going. Yes, there's everyone just milling around, eating grass or whatever little grass is still shooting out of the ground in this more desolated area of the north. What do you guys like to do? Is there anything that you guys want to approach with?
What food do I have in my
Well, you'll have
pack?
rations.
Rations.
So, what sort of rations would you say Suzy has? You normally have 10 days of rations before leaving.
She probably went for a lot of biscuits. I'm hoping there's cheese in there, but that might have been ill-advised.
I meant to get Boogle. Sorry. That was Hannah remembering. She's failed.
It's okay.
Hey.
Got me around.
Sorry.
There you go.
Anyway.
Continue.
Put out some dried fruit. Ooh! She might have some dried apple. I think she's got dried apple. Dried apple. Okay.
Dried apple.
So-
We'll say she has some dried apple,
Thank
shall we?
you.
Dried apple.
She hoiks them out, and very carefully and very slowly, from the front, approaches the nearest horse.
Okay, cool. I want you to just make a stealth check, but not for like sneaking. I just wanted to see how careful
How
you
light-footed you are.
are. Yeah.
That one.
Don't rattle me, you bitch!
Have
Stat,
you kicked by a horse?
that is 18.
18, lovely. Yeah, you managed to approach quite carefully, not making any sudden noises or standing on any errant twigs that are around to make any snapping noises. And you managed to get up to the closest one to you. This kind of, as you get closer, you start to notice that they're quite big compared to your average horse. They're not. I was about to try sound smart, and then went, nope, can't do it. They're not
big boy horses.
They're big boy horses.
Big boy horses.
They're not the normal
Are
horses.
they like draft horses?
Yes,
so like
they're
furry
more the work
horses
horses, quite Shetland kind of horse type thing.
Not like
they
giant
sh-
horses.
Like Shire horse.
Shire horse, that's the word.
Clydesdale. Things
Okay,
like that.
okay, cool. You can see that I don't work with horses.
Someone was a middle class child.
Fuck off!
Horse riding.
I've seen the videos where they pull along the canal boat and all that. Anyway,
Club.
anyway, yes. So there is quite large, bigger than your average horse that would be used for travel or work load. They seem to be, as we're saying, Shire horses, quite bulky.
Dench.
What would you like to do?
Gonna put the apple in my hand and then hold my hand out and approach further.
I would like you to roll an animal handling check
Prof lost her
with
fingers.
disadvantage.
Have I picked the only cannibal horses in as well?
Cannibal horses would eat other horses.
Not bad.
Less good.
That's 11.
11? No, that's fine. You bring it up and it just kind of turns to look at you as it notices a presence by its side, but it doesn't seem to be shocked or spooked. It just kind of turns, has this almost disinterested look in its face. Kind of turns, looks down at you, and just snuffs at your hand. Doesn't eat it.
I would like to, with my hands like, look over my shoulder at everybody and be like, oh, this is so cute. Prof likes animals. Yeah.
Can I look at the horses and see if they're like... Oh, because they're wild.
Yeah.
But I'd like to make sure that they like look properly wild and they're not open like in a farmed land.
Yeah, I would go with make a nature check for me.
Just so they're 19.
19. Lovely. You start to notice as you're walking closer as well, seeing that Planchett has done quite a good job of getting up close to one, that each of them have a almost imperceptible brand on the back of their left hind.
Is it Gilmore's? Not Gilmore's.
Yes, it's Gilmore's Glorious Goods because I'm branding out to different companies now. No, it's a simple kind of like almost. It looks when you first see it almost like an arrowhead, but as you get closer, it actually looks like your dramatis masks. It looks like one of those with a crack down the left side of it.
It's not what it's concerned.
Do I recognise the symbol at all?
No.
Cool. I'm not entirely sure these are as wild horses as you think they are.
As you
Surely that makes it easier for us.
You see that?
as you guys are having this conversation, you hear a whistle come from the lurkwood, and stepping out from the lurkwood, the perimeter of the lurkwood, is a 5'6" kind of cloaked figure, blackened cloak, black leggings or like trousers of some sort, have straps that are running down their legs, hood over, but you can see some kind of like black hair, dank, hanging from inside the cloak, and just is walking with purpose directly towards you.
When you say whistle, was it like a
proper loud piercing whistle?
As opposed to I have a
mouth made, yes,
yeah.
Rather than by any form of
naturally occurring.
You notice, however, that all the horses kind of perk up and look towards this figure, and then return to grazing.
I'm going to back away. So, so that only the path is by a horse.
Awesome. This is going to be even more fun. The figure walks directly up to you, knocks the hood back, and staring you in the face is a kind of porcelain, white, pale-skinned woman. She has a massive scar running down her left side of her face. Has either very deep bags under her eyes, or she is wearing some sort of eyeliner. Pale greyish lips. She just leans forwards to you and goes, "You've got about 5 seconds to step away from my horse."
4, 3,
But
2,
5,
Okay, I'm
4.
sorry. I
Lovely.
just wanted to say hello. They're really beautiful.
I know,
like
I breed them
animals.
myself.
You do a really nice job.
I know.
They're really hairy.
Keeps them warm throughout the winter period.
It's good. It gets cold around here.
What are you doing with my horse?
Oh, I really like animals, and I wanted to say hello.
Oh,
And I had some apple, and I know horses like
okay.
apple.
did you not pay attention to any? She kind of walks around and points the brand on the back hind and goes, "Did you not pay attention to the fact they are owned beasts?"
No. No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
If a fox comes onto a farm, they normally get castrated for what they do to the chickens.
Oh, I don't have any balls.
Well, depends on the farmer. Reaches a hand forward, left hand, and you notice that she is wearing a leather glove. Punch.
I thought so. I suspected.
Oh, my character. Oh.
Did you like the? You've got 5 seconds.
She's alive. I was so sad when I thought she was dead.
She's only alive because you're no longer in charge of her.
Don't die!
Or there may be an underlying story with Azamar.
No.
Or maybe
Campaign
the fact that
3.
she's aware something or other now.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
big.
We've been
We're
talking
big.
Oh, how's
about
the Tash going? Just like out of game. How's the Tash doing?
She's quite slim looking, pale, gaunt face, doesn't have any facial hair of any sort.
Oh, I'm hoping for a really good like handlebar. I've forgotten who I am now.
Planchett, not Punch.
Fuck me.
I'm Heather.
Professor.
I got really excited.
Heather.
You've just got really nice horses. I'm Dr. Susanna Planchett.
Lovely to meet you.
I'm not usually. This isn't really my habitat, as
no,
it were.
I can tell
kind of
that.
city. I'm really sorry about the horse feeding. I
mean, I don't mind you
Sorry.
feeding them if you are going to feed them. I just prolonged time around horses in the wild suggests other intentions.
Fair. I mean, if I was trying to steal one, I probably wouldn't have much of a chance anyway, because I'm not even sure how to get up there.
It's simple. You just sling one leg over the. No, it's fine. And your party, and points over the way as the other 3 are kind of walking up behind you.
Oh, we're just travelling through.
Have you stabbed her?
No, she hasn't stabbed. Why would I ask people that?
You're going to stab me.
Other way around.
No.
Other way around. We're expecting you to stab her.
Please
I
don't
mean,
stab me.
I had no intentions.
Yeah, it's fine. Just making sure.
Took a turn for the worse. Make a perception check for me, please. Planchett is the person who's like right up close in the face.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
you see jack shit.
Actually,
yeah.
Make an insight would be the best way for it.
Can I reroll?
No.
No,
Same
damn
roll.
it. Was it perception you wanted?
Insight, please.
Oh wow, yeah, that is
That
3.
made it worse by making it insight.
Sorry. 3. Lovely. Doesn't matter then. You just notice that her eyes kind of flit up towards the other 4, with Pivot, and then she just brings her attention back to you. So, again, what are you doing? Just passing through.
Oh, we're going to Menzoberranzan.
Why would you go to Menzoberranzan?
Research.
Do you think you're going to survive in the Underdark?
Yeah.
I mean, look at you, and she starts walking around you, just kind of picking off bits of your clothing, and then just letting go again.
Stop touching my clothes.
It's as if you may punch a brick, and now punch the brick is happening at you. Those ones, not words.
That's okay. It's okay because I've got friends. Don't laugh at that.
Except I said I've got a friend.
Not used to having multiple. Yeah.
She walks over and introduces herself to Pivot, to Hororae, and to Klaxis, and then walks back to you.
Yeah,
Not ellipsis.
No, talk to 4 dots.
No.
That's good.
Can I insight
You can't. No,
Oh.
you failed your insight a second ago.
that? Okay. No insight happens.
I'm gonna look at 4 dots, mate.
He just kind of just bashfully smiles and
I mean-
just starts looking at the sky.
Have you, like, with her, Have you?
No, I've never met her before in my life.
I mean, I'm pulling Captain bullshit right there.
I mean, I'm gonna take this stone off the ground and go, nope, that's an 11, I'm fine.
Okay, fine. It's like an insight.
Go for it.
I've got
Roll this weird insight thing you're talking about collecting.
I've got a stone as well.
Can I insight check her to see what's going
go for
on
it.
with
19.
her?
19.
She's weird.
He's being fairly honest, he has no recollection of meeting this woman.
There's no recollection. Okay, cool.
Nope. Big fat no.
Insight for the Hororae.
5.
5?
You're aware people exist.
I'm aware people exist.
You are aware that people exist, and you
Aware
get a sense that
she's a bit of a bitch.
She doesn't seem to like any of you, but at the same time, she has specific hatred towards Ellipsis for some reason. But that's all you can get with a 5.
She's a racist.
What did I do to her?
Sweet. So.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Like, we've got pivot and stuff. Oh, and you, sorry.
Cheers.
So you breed horses?
Yes, keeps me out of the way of people. I'm not good with people.
Oh, I feel that.
And the character. Adam did a sassy.
And the saucer of milk.
Oh, I really want that on a t-shirt now. I didn't do this sassy.
Got a spot 48.
Into the podcast.
Adam made a sassy.
Yes, so she just kind of looks at all of you and goes, well, yes, I breed horses. I sell them to Mirabar when needed. That's the most contact with people I will do.
How much for the horse?
Depends on which one you want.
So was it a carriage?
I don't know. Just a quick check. Have you heard about Mirabar?
No.
Oh, seeing as you've obviously got stakes in Mirabar, some frost giants came down and kind of squished it.
Ah.
I think Khaled, the underground, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's okay, but it's kind of closed off.
Hang on, I try to remember my dwarvish. Khaled is surface. Kazir is mirror.
Could be.
Khaled, I believe, is the surface area.
Oh, is that the surface? Okay.
I can't remember. I made it up on the spot.
I
What's
do
this voice
history.
talking through me? No, Khaled is the surface, and Kazir is the below.
Kazir, I'll write that down. Yeah, so just so you're aware.
Okay, so I
do you do much with... how much do your horses start at?
again, it depends on the horse.
What's the cheapest one?
The cheapest one points to like a greying one, further closer up to the Lurkwood's edge. Goes apple down over there will cost you about 40 gold.
I wouldn't let boggle like that. I wouldn't let it's so sharp.
Pulls out.
It needs me to like core.
If you're looking for something that will hold one of you lot at a time, she will do. If you're looking for something that will hold him and points at pivot, that is... I don't have any animals big enough.
No, it's fine, we can ride him. Why did you see that we wouldn't survive in Menzoberranzan?
Oh, not you, her.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, just because...
I take back my anger. That's fine.
Anger retracted.
I'm going to say that I mean this not in a sexist way, but your female party members seem to be somewhat on the squidgy side compared to the more burly looking. I mean, he looks homeless and the other one looks... Horns don't do...
I thought Menzoberranzan would be quite a nice place for me.
They are quite low ceilings.
Not that tall.
They are quite good in a fight because they just got like, the power of magic and whatnot.
Oh,
Also, she keeps making magical things that fight stuff. Like she made big guys.
So what happens when big guy's not there?
She's still pretty decent on her own.
Fair enough. I'll leave you to work out what you do down there. I'm just more watching textbook over here.
Alright, just don't insult my friends at all.
Apologies. I just came out into the field to find that my horses were being tampered with.
Only with fried apple and one hand.
There's a horse mess. I'm Professor in Horse Balls. This makes sense in your how your
Stop waking them up, Hannah. Stop waking them up.
No, that was a different character. That was Harry.
Cough.
I advise against touching horse balls, just so you all know. I think
She hands you the reins for all the horses for free. She doesn't.
Oh.
You said it! It's
No, she doesn't. She doesn't avoid the terrorist comes out of the fucking woods. Anyway.
How much?
Look,
Okay.
if you're looking to buy horses, we're going to do a deal of some sort because you want more than one.
Right.
So your average price for a good horse is about 65 gold each. You said that you can ride the big guy there and points at the so that means one of you aren't going to ride, which means you need another 3. So 65 becomes 130, then we're going to 195, so let's make it just for funsies 150 gold, and you can have all 3 of the horses.
How much would be a starter lesson?
Starter lesson.
Yeah.
We'll be grand, don't worry.
Are you sure? I mean,
we'll put you on, slap it, Zars, happy.
I don't think I want them helping me with this.
I will give you an extra 5 gold for the charge of a lesson.
I will pay that. I will pay that. There we go.
Plus, I will handle whatever, fuck you. What?
What?
Nothing?
Don't be mean to me.
I wasn't just saying.
I just want to, like, look, I understand that me and this horse are gonna have to be best buds for a while, and it's bigger than me.
So we're buying horses for
I'll buy a horse.
Planchett.
Yep.
Klaxis.
Are you ready?
Are you riding a horse or are you going to ride pivot?
I might as well ride pivot, because unless we can make him travel any faster, we'll be going at his speed anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to ride pivot.
I use I can sleep on the back of a horse.
And then Ellipsis will kind of lean forward to you, Klaxis, and just go, when I disintegrated, left it in my other suit of armour, I think, and just starts patting his pockets, going, I've got nothing.
Prof, did you pick up anything off the body?
No, I just
Remember,
picked...
it all turned into dust.
I know, I'm just
everything.
making sure that you
I just got an envelope of ash, and it disappeared. I'd give it back, but there's nothing to
I
give.
get out my notebook and I write a very detailed IOU.
Lovely. I mean, I can fix
It's
that.
alright, Brandis!
No. I'm
I
sorry.
can fix that once we get to Menzo.
What's worse is I've written Klaxis as a massive hedonist who hates money and spends all the time anyway, but he's making sure it's his money, he's spending his way. Alright, no, I've got your back, don't worry, but you're going to buy me like a fuck ton of beer.
I mean, that's fine. I bought the first round the night we met anyway.
Cool, that's like another 25 rounds to go.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fine.
Fuck
Or
is-
I can do something. We'll work that out.
Oh
later.
yeah, so anyway, here's gold. Horsey, please.
Lovely. So, you guys pay up, I'm imagining 50 gold each?
Right.
Or
55.
Are you 55, and then you're paying the 100 for
100.
the 2. Lovely. She wanders back towards the Lurkwood, brings out some saddles and such and places them onto the horses. They're very rudimentary saddles. They're not anything to write home about, but at the same time, they are better than bareback.
Dear home, the saddle's shite.
Dear Dad. Oh, wait.
Oh no! I'm trying really hard to distract him from anything. Daddy never came to my ball game.
Anyway.
Because he's dead now.
As she puts the saddle onto the final one, kind of points at you, Planchett, and goes, "Wait, here." Helps you up onto the horse and hands you the reins and starts speaking in quite a loud manner, just in case anyone wants to overhear it. So, if you want to turn left, hit this one, and shows you the right hand rein. If you want to turn right, hit this one, and hit the left hand rein. If you want to go faster, hit both once. If you want to go slower, or stop, pull. Simple as. And hold on.
What happens
And then
if
she
we-
slaps the ass of the road.
As
Roll
In
straight!
game. That was a scream.
you hit 80 miles an hour.
You turn up in the Christmas special we did last campaign where the sleighing stopped. Anyway, that's a callback. I hate myself. Anyway, could I have an animal handling check?
Oh no.
This time, just straight.
Just straight, because this makes it even better. That is a 15.
Lovely. So it suddenly just starts galloping off, rears up and starts charging. You manage to hold on for the most part, and then as you kind of quickly panic and just pull the reins back, holding it, you're aware that you are pulling quite tight, but at the moment you're not really worrying about the breathing of the horse, as you're just trying to get it to stop. Starts to slow down and then drops into a canter, then turns round and starts to canter back towards the group. As you just kind of let go of the reins a little, or loosen the reins and start to wander it back, it seems to respond to your command a bit more.
I'm alive! Thank you, Punch. Is there like a business card or anything you'd like us to take around? Like us to help you out? Expand? I don't know.
Starts patting herself down. Sorry, no business cards.
Oh, no.
Do you want us to tell people about you, that you exist here and have horses?
No.
I will.
That involves people coming here, and if this is going to be the same thing every day, Groundhog Day is not wanted.
Oh,
Would
no.
you do it? No,
Please don't do it.
Whatever
Whatever you're doing, don't do it. Not to me.
These are the internal monologues that you can get on our Patreon.
I've got a horse. What does it look like?
This one's kind of speckled, so primarily like a dapple grey. It's predominantly white and cream coloured with brown spots.
It's so cute.
I mean, because you're being posh, I slapped the horse's ass.
And again, you just hear the neigh, the whinny, and then it charges back off towards the lurkwood.
Just making sure it's not a fluke.
Please stop
You
me!
managed to pull the reins this time instinctively rather than panicking, and guide the horse back to the group again.
The best way to learn is to do it. And congratulations, you have learned.
If I can teach one other thing, I'll do this one for free, just because I had a large windfall from this sale. If you do this, and she places her fingers into her mouth and whistles a free note passage that seems to go lowish, higher, and then mid-range, and then each in short bursts for the note. It doesn't matter if it's the specific frequency; it just has to be that kind of almost Zelda-like response. If the horse is within range of you, so about they seem to be quite good at hearing for about 200 feet, it will return to you.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Come with me, bitches.
Anyway,
How's
Does he have a name?
Fuck.
you'd have to name him. Or her.
Is it him?
Is it
Has
him?
it
We'll
been
go with
gelded?
him, yes.
That's where you got the balls.
Well, it depends if they've been gelded.
We'll go with him.
You gotta got a horse, twat.
We'll go with just pulling the other two for Klaxis and Ellipsis. Ellipsis gets a jet black one, and Klaxis, yours is a more auburn, kind of dark red in fur. Chestnut, auburn, whichever word you
I
want.
mean, you can go roan, which is quite a pretty colour. Sorry. I mean,
Just make the world come
we're
to
also
life.
going to have to talk about your animal handling in real life. It worries me.
This week on the Equine Challenge, Kyra has to not
Cool,
talk about
we've
horses.
got
Kyra, do
horses.
you want me to go down this road about how we treat horses?
Not today. We can do this outside the podcast. But yeah, sorry, you were telling me things. I'm just like, this is killing me inside. No, it's okay.
Apologies, I
It's
played
okay.
to the
You,
strengths.
I understand. that-
Wait till you play a bard again and I tell you how music works.
I know. Yeah, please do that. I'd like to know something in my life. Anything but
I will
no.
bring this fight. Anyway,
It's fine. We can teach you so.
I don't want to
something.
learn.
Oh my fucking god, stop talking about horses.
I like
This was
horses.
just a simple
I've been
mechanism to
deprived.
get the-
I know! It's like it's 8 o'clock.
We did have half an hour.
I know, but we've spent half an hour.
Why do you think Steve doesn't
wrong
do?
with
Why do you think Steve doesn't do anything set on a steam train? So I don't talk. Or in a World War II tank.
Murder on the Orient Express coming soon.
My character spends the entire time looking at the edge. The train didn't do it, but I need more investigation. I am on my horsey.
As Fred comes out. Anyway.
Oh, yes.
We ride off.
I'm on my horsey.
You guys get onto your horses. Dora, you get onto Pippa, and I lose the will to live a little bit more. Ellipsis starts riding the other way back to fucking Mirror at this point. Anyway, you guys get on a horse. You guys start to canter off in the direction. You notice that when going at a full gallop, Pivot starts to drag behind as the speed of a horse is normally about 60 feet per round, and Pivot's is 40. So even when he is at full speed, charging sort of thing, he is struggling to keep up with the horses if they get to a full gallop. So you find a relaxed pace that meets for both of them. This would knock your travel time down from the 8 days that were left of this travel, or 7 now that you've got to the day past the horses, to 3.
Boom.
Step.
Never called him Perivale.
Pardon?
It's called Perivale.
It's called Paraffin.
Perryville.
Perryville.
Isn't the place in London?
Possibly, I don't know.
Perryville.
I just like the sound of it.
That's what Ace is from.
That's lovely.
Ah.
Klaxis, do you name your horse?
No, I call him lasagna.
That's still a name.
You call him lasagna, and every time Ellipsis is referred to, he suggests glue gun.
What's wrong with you people?
I have a twisted sense of humour.
And my character likes lasagna. It's the colour of lasagna.
That is
He also loves Mondays. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
remember when I bought lasagna? They legit got lasagna in my freezer. It makes me sad.
Allowing it now will be ending soon. Don't worry. We are slowly dying here.
It's really warm in England. It's
Really
dumb.
warm.
Humid warm.
Stupid.
2 of us are tired.
We made
One of
14
us is
plays in
giving up.
48 hours. Punk rock theatre, bitches!
I didn't. I just had more grown-up life. It was hilarious. Anyway, so you guys. I'm going to say we'll do this. We'll do this. We will do this. You guys ride for the next 3 days.
Gondor. I'm really sleepy. I'm so sorry.
Anyone who's watching, anyone who's listening, please. I need help. Cat wrangling is easier than this. Anyway, you guys ride for 3 days. You take rests in between. Is there anything you would like to do in your rests, such as your perception checks? Yeah, make 3 perception checks for me. Is there anything that anyone would like to do during their rest?
I'd like to identify what the Boopido potions are.
The Boopido potions.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, because you don't even have to roll anything, because if I
No.
identify, they are like a weakened version of your average health potion. They do 1d4 plus 1.
Okay.
You notice that you can't place a finger on it, but there seems to be like a strain of something that floats through it that has some magical property. You're just not sure what it does.
Even though I identify.
Yep. You can
Right,
see there is
so-
a magical strand floating through it.
Health plus who the fuck knows.
Yes, there is
I
just
tell
a random
everybody
strain that goes.
Plus
So you've
who
got
knows what.
Klaxis had 2, you had 2 if I remember
Yes.
rightly. Lovely. Yes.
21.
Yeah,
Sorry, 21, 23, natural 20.
Lovely.
I work really well on a thing that's in no consequence.
Anyway, lovely. Anything else for anything before I come to that? Anything for anyone else in the group?
I'd like to start work work on making the monocles interact with dark vision.
Yes, lovely. It's a simple mechanism. You spend the first evening looking at was about to call him Thistle, and I know that's my old character. It's not Truffle. They're so close. Anyway, you open up the mechanism and you see that there is essentially a, like I was saying to you last week, there is a kind of like a router that seems to convert what the image is seeing for the creature or the construct, so it can then almost turn on infrared afterwards. So when you're seeing through its eyes, you're not seeing the dark vision. You link up the simple mechanism, simple wire. You test it out, sending it out, and you can see essentially where you would normally see just the darkness and that lot. With the area around you, you can now see in like a light-ish kind of green hue around everything, and then the closer to light it starts to turn from a green to a yellow, and then looking at normal light, it looks as if you're just looking at it with a bit of a lens on sort of thing.
Okay. Am I able to do
you
that?
Do that with
Pivot and Truffle in
yes.
the time?
Yeah. So the first night you do it with Truffle because it's a hard mechanism, but also you can learn how it's done whilst getting the hardest thing out of the way. Pivots is a simple. You just open the hatch, connect a couple of wires up, and you've worked it out. Quite simple. Lovely.
I just want to spend time bonding with my horse. We don't have to go into it, but I just want to make this certain and canon that I bond with Periwinkle.
Every night, as you bed down,
Spoon.
She's the little spoon. Horse like a leg up.
And the next thing, I drape myself over its ass. It's the warmest spot, guys. If you're ever cold and you've got a horse, the bottom of the bedding, just...
I'm going to kill the horses, because if I kill the horses, then she can't have this.
Kill the horses.
I'll replace them with a manticore, and it will all go. Anyway. Yes.
Yeah,
you and Perryville spend the next 3 nights getting to know one another, candlelit
Intimately.
dinners. You find out that he used to work in finance before moving out into the fields.
You swiped right on
Yeah, you swiped up for Superman. Anyway, Klaxis.
I'm awake.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I was feeling okay until about an hour ago.
So, the first 2 nights, every now and then you are looking at, or the first 2 days, every now and then you can see out the corner of your eye that smoky sensation coming up again.
Fuck. Cool.
And as you turn to look at it, it flutters off like ravens in the corner of your eye. However, on the second night, as you're on watch, this is where this happens. You keep dropping down just outside the lurkwood, keeping a little close to the edge for cover against the wind, but at the same time not too close because everyone is aware of the lurkwood's inhabitants. You're looking around, the sun is setting, there's that kind of twilight kind of settling over the meadow, and you are sure, and this happens both the second and the third night, you can see a figure stood a couple of feet into the tree line. Simple kind of black outline, looks like a pitch black shadow that stands behind the tree. However, when you make direct eye contact with it, it puffs into a smoky raven explosion type thing.
But I can see it when I'm...
But you can see out the corner of your eye. The third night with your natural 20,
Oh, bitch.
as you turn to, you kind of stop, and the other 3 are asleep whilst this is happening. But anyway, as you watch out the corner of your eye, you see this figure appear again, and you turn, and this time it stays, and piercing red eyes just meet your gaze, and then it steps back behind the tree.
I wake Hororae up.
Lovely.
Sorry. Can I still, like, out of the corner of my eye, like, see it?
It's gone
Okay.
when you're finished.
Sweet. I just relay that to Hororae and be like, keep an eye out for, like shadowy figure, red eyes. Because I can watch things
Can I do a perception check? if I can see
Make a
anything.
perception check.
'Cause I can see a fair bit.
You'd have disadvantage because obviously
It's not going to get much worse than that.
-4.
82. What the fuck?
4.
4.
It's just
Can't see the woods of the trees.
Just trees name.
Actually, that's
Okay.
probably nothing.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just do I saw something. Okay.
Can I insight check it?
Yeah, roll an insight.
I'm rolling shit today.
If you want to roll a deception or persuasion of your choice,
I'm not sure
Klaxis.
doing either, but why not?
12.
12.
What am I doing? Deception.
Deception or persuasion of your choice.
Ooh, 3.
So you have heavily failed in that contest.
Yeah.
Would you like to give as much information, or as
'Cause I'm
much
aware
information you would feel is
I'm aware that
appropriate
we
of
don't know anything
Yeah, well,
about anything.
I've told you the truth. Like, I keep seeing a thing like a shadowy figure in the forest. Simple as. But when I go to look at it, it's just not there.
And
I
he
can
is
see it
truthful when
in
he's
the
saying
corner of
this.
my eye.
Does that ring any bells for me as a concept in like stories, like creatures or stories or anything like that?
There are a mixture of, with the limited information you have, there are a mixture of stories that your dad would have told you as a child that could constitute a link to this.
Yeah.
There's nothing specifically that you can go, oh,
Anything
it's the Jabberwocky.
health-wise?
Sorry?
Anything health-wise?
Health-wise, you ask him to get more potassium in his diet and
Okay.
come back in 3 days and see how he's doing.
I'll eat a banana. It's fine.
Yes.
Are you... I mean... Obviously you're not going to be okay,
I'm not saying like, but hey.
but... If you need to chat, I suppose, quite a difficult. I'm trying. If you,
What?
she's so sorry.
We should do the stream so you guys could see this.
What?
Do the stream so you can
Look,
see this.
I get what you're trying to see. I've just woken you up. I'm quite sorry. Your brain is clearly not working. Look, no, I'm not particularly great. That's true. But like, I'm not sure what a chat will do to help it. But thanks. Just keep an eye out. That's all.
I will.
Get the fuck back to sleep. And,
Okay.
and just don't pay attention to the lady spooning a horse.
It's quite disturbing.
It really is, isn't it?
Oh,
They've got
it's
quite a-
pure and sweet.
Oh no, it's not.
Did you see what she made for him? Like there's candles and everything. It's like she made him like risotto. Like they kept gazing at each other's eyes like a big scary horse. Have you seen a horse eat risotto? It's not pretty. She was like pebble dashed, but she was too busy going eyes, lovely eyes.
It's her first pet.
It's not. It's a horse.
It's a pet to her.
Oh wait, stop giggling. Go back to speed. Right, I'm gonna go watch. Cheers, chaps. Cheers for the good chat. I'm gonna keep an eye out on the rest of the locals. Once Hororae stopped giggling. They shared the cheesecake. Like they each had a long spoon that she taped to a hoof.
I feel so sorry for Planchett. Oh my god, that's so bad.
And because it said
We
it
could
happened.
have just said, this was a day off.
I'm really
No,
enjoying
because
myself.
next week is a week off. I wasn't gonna do that.
Anywho,
I go back to my watch.
you go back to your watch, yeah.
Sure. Yep.
3 days have passed. Not a lot seems to jump out throughout this barren wasteland. One thing of note, sorry.
I also keep pestering 4 dots.
Yes.
Like, hey, so what happened to Punch? Like a book. What happened to Punch? Hey? You and she didn't like make eye contact once. It's a naughty box.
No, you're good. Right. So,
Book.
did you notice? Here, we'll have this conversation with you here before we go into a break. Did you notice that she had a scar across her face?
Aye.
looked quite deep.
Quite extensive.
Yet her eye was fine underneath it.
Aye.
Surely her eye would have been destroyed by such an attack.
She could have been like probably, aye.
I'm just thinking, if she was fine with 2 humans and one being a fun distilled magic bloody one, and the other just being, I don't think there is a class to describe the pain in the ass, but and then you've got the tiefling. Like, she's fine with all of those.
Aye.
But she seems to have some sort of scarring and has survived it. I'm going to go with possibly Azamar as well.
Ah, sweet. So you just don't like each other. Different Azamars don't like each other.
I've never met another one, so I can just assume with the fact that if I can do this, like I've been disintegrated and now I'm standing here. So does she have her eye still because she's been cut? I don't know.
Family gatherings must be fun for you all.
I mean, it is. It's good for the bar. It's good for the baker, but it's not good for any sort of social aspect of things. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
I'm gonna leave you to awkward around. I'm just gonna.
Thank you. Do you think just whilst I've got you here, do you think that if I was to sell this horse when we get to Menzoberranzan, the other 2 would mind?
Probably not.
Lovely.
Are the other horses strong enough? Like clearly strong enough to hold 2 people.
Yeah, they're
Hey.
quite big. They would hold like one. You being someone who's sort of lived in like the more rural areas of the north as well, these are the sort of horses that would hold one like full-blooded orc or 2 humans, sort of thing, and still be fine.
Actually, should be no problem. We've got enough room to keep heading horses.
Yeah, well, ideas anyway.
Ready to make fenders. What? Making cheap meat?
Cheap meat? No. I've been to that company and it was terrible. Somewhere in Waterdeep there was this chain of merchants.
Oh, the finders.
The finders, yes.
Right, great. So smashing. Well, look, it's your plan. You do what you need to do.
Thank you. But yeah, cool. I don't know what's happening with her. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, sweet. So just all like each other.
Lovely. Yeah, we're just massive racists against each other.
Sweet. So, bye. I'm gonna go back on my lovely horse. My lovely horse.
Running through the
For
meadow.
fields.
Yeah.
Feathers blowing in the wind.
Gonna get rid of that saxophone solo. Until Dr. Lucian gets here.
Dr. Sanchez.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to meet Dr. Lucian. Anyway, enough of my gay bantering. Something that you will all notice as well, but you're also aware of. You keep a wide berth from the edge of the Evermoors as you ride as well, as every now and then as you look to the south, you notice winged figure coming out of the waters, scaly, blue, very large, draconic in nature. It is common knowledge to the denizens of this area of the Sword Coast that the Evermoors is essentially the haunting ground of an ancient blue dragon that has been cursed to need water, live in water or submerge in water, so has taken to making the Evermoors its home.
Oh,
Yes.
that's really nice.
Just so you have some stuff happening along the way. You see, so as you're riding along, you notice every now and then it kind of comes into like a perimeter kind of circle around and then lands back in and then submerges itself and kind of almost blends in with the islands of like little land that jut out of the waters. But yes,
That's a flying Nessie.
As you guys get to the common knowledge entrance of Menzoberranzan, you ride for the last of the 3-4 days that you're riding, and you arrive outside a massive gaping hole in the side of the mountains that stretch down from the spine of the world. These just cut off the Lurkwood and these mountain like peninsula kind of feature that drips down into the Sword Coast, kind of jut up against each other, and you've gone around the edge and to the other side to where there is a large opening with runic kind of engravings around it in different languages saying "Welcome to Menzoberranzan." You follow down into the dark. There are sconces and torches along the tunnel that lead down into the building, and stretching out before you as you enter this massive cavern. It seems to be almost another world entirely in size below what was the surface a couple of 100 feet above you. As you see a sprawling city of gems and emeralds glittering against this one central beacon in the middle of the city. There is this large spire with an ominous red ruby-like glow that spreads light over the entire city. There are different quarters that you can see as you ride around this kind of dirt track that goes around the edge of the cavern down towards the entrance of Menzoberranzan. But there are different sectors that you can see that these kind of more stone-looking buildings are the homes of sort of the shops and the forges and such. There are wooden houses more to the eastern area of the city that act as some sort of homing area. There is 2 regal-looking marble buildings that jut either side of the far north of the city. These 2 are the colleges, which I've completely lost the name of, which are in my notes, but it is fine. We'll get that when we come back from the break.
Oh!
Hey.
So it is 25 past now. If you would like to skip this music first, Man Down is a very ominous song. Anyway, if you'd like to go grab yourselves a drink, use the loo. We won't be doing a poo this time. We did it last session. That was...
I poop more than once a decade, you know.
I mean, I do it on special occasions.
Like
But
the
either way,
Queen's birthday.
the Queen's birthday and my birthday, to 2 Queen's birthdays. Anyway, so yes, we'll come back in about 20 minutes. Let's go 1:45. Come back. We'll see where the story leads us any further. But yes, intrigue, mystery, fun. Ooh, I will find my notes and find out what the fucking colleges were called. Anyway, back you bye.
Have a wonderful
Bye.
time.
Back. We're back. I think some of us are back. Body and spirit and all that jokes. Yeah. Hal. So.
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome to Menzoberranzan.
Tabletop audio is something I never get to play with because it never seems to like me.
That's so good!
But I will be using it now if you'd like to use it yourself. Tabletopaudio.com. Use SoundPad. It's brilliant.
It's made by one bloke.
Adam, continue.
It's made by one bloke. It's made by James. He's a dad, and he made a bunch of soundscapes for his son when they played D&D and roleplay games. And now it's a wonderful, free, totally free resource tool where you can build your own soundscapes for D&D or any RPG. And they've got a load of pre-built ones, and it's all because of one guy's love for his son when he did RPGs.
Mm.
Yeah.
We used to use it on home games every now and then,
Right.
but unfortunately, we used to
Oh.
argue with. Because I use iPad for music and DMing notes and all that, I used to argue, but because people are donating and go and join their Patreon as well, they've been able to make it so you can use it as a background noise as well. So quite literally, you can't see me, but actually, still playing. So I can then go to this total not plug, this game system that I used to run that doesn't look like anything, and I can still hear the noise.
That's just brilliant, and it's run by this lovely dude.
Yeah. Most of the people that you find in this community are fucking lovely.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I was trying to say, what day is it now? Because was it 3 days travel? So
3 days
it's
travel,
now,
so
it's now
13th
of winter.
of winter. We are halfway through the season, meaning we're nearly at the end of the year. Only 10 more days till someone dies. I mean, Christmas, if you were to play that.
I also learned a new sign. Nerd.
Can you do that? Sorry, I'm getting.
Welcome back to the podcast's best
Twist it.
part, where we
Circle
still do
I was
sign
going the wrong
language.
way.
Yeah.
So you can see what she's doing right
I
now.
know.
Well, yeah.
Later we'll be doing the lights going on around the Christmas tree that's here, and we'll also be showing you the paintings we've been doing for the podcast. Anyway,
I turn to Hororae about. So
so you guys are coming down that. We'll pick up back there as you're coming down the dirt track.
Yep.
The cavern is echoing the noise of the city, so this is what you can hear as you're coming through.
you want to find the necromancer, Horomancer, or you want to find it? Chronomancer.
They're in Arcadia. I believe
Yeah, I
they're
know. If I never saw it, anyone being gentle.
I need to go to the libraries. I've got research to do. What?
Do you have any particular information about where this sword might be?
The library is a good place to start.
There we go.
Also, you know nothing. You just know that it exists. I'm so glad that we made this decision.
I think he literally
Sorry
knows
there,
everything that...
kitten, but how much do you know about the Chronomancers, apart from they're in Arcadia?
Oh, but
I'm well aware.
Then stop being a dick to him.
I'm also going to do some research for you as well, Hororae. So, and I need to do some personal stuff for the boss. It'll be okay.
Library it is then.
wait, hang on. What
What?
are you doing for the boss?
Shoot some research.
On what?
Places, people. It's cool.
Any
So it's
particular places or people?
Did you? What? It's perfectly normal to, like, you know, want to know more about these
Someone's
things.
speaking to Daddy again.
It's not my daddy, he's my boss.
Okay. Someone's speaking to the boss man again.
Yes.
You know where Sid... What?
I
No.
will do.
No, I'm not gonna... You find the surprise on your own, young lady, and I will enjoy watching this happen.
And he's paying me and everything, so it's all good.
Okay. Of course he is. Of course. Of course we shouldn't have any problems with this whatsoever. We should not... I mean, who the fuck am I to talk? I get my powers from another maniacal being in the middle of nowhere as well.
Exactly. I
My
don't
own
see
body.
what the problem is.
I mean, I have no issues. It's more just that mine's no track record for trying to kill people.
Right, so I can see tensions are high. New pace, new experience, great. Good team scoring, guys. I like it.
I just like people to lay off the boss a little bit.
Few moments are about to happen.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no.
He's limbering up.
Blooper Joe.
Anyway, no, it's much worse.
So yeah, can I have a look
Brother,
around
is it?
and see if I can see a library?
Well, this will happen. As you guys are having this conversation, you saw right now, you come up to the gate of the city, and there are two guards standing. Both drow. Can you do this? Can you? I hate this. I
Oh.
will try, because I have failed.
Oh, I've just
many
realised
actions.
what's happening. Oh, it took me far longer than I expected.
We're quite tired, it's okay.
This is...
My favourite thing I've ever contributed.
This is Adam's fault. So, and I will never turn down the time for.
This is what they use in Wolverhampton.
Because
like the
I will never
corporate.
turn down the chance for the guys to build the world. So,
Unless
cool.
the
You
viewers
guys come up to two drow that are in leather armours, holding two spears, have quite formal, regal kind of headwear that comes up in a kind of like, rather than in a hound type way, it kind of almost like a fitted to the form hood that comes from the back of the neck of the armour up and around over the head, allowing for the pointy ears to come through. You know what?
Would it be easy if we
Racism
said...
always works, so let's do this. So, you guys so, good day, mates. How So, what do you guys get us?
Sold.
We're looking for because we can. Well, these accents are gonna not stay now. Then.
No.
I'm looking for. We're looking slowly for a library.
Library? Right, well, Bruce, do you know anything about library?
Bruce.
Bruce, I don't seem to know anything about library.
college, university, anything like that? Fonts of information.
Well, we've got these two, fuck my life.
Emmanuel Camp was a real percent who was very, very stable.
No! Don't do this to me.
But constrained with various wine, not to stable.
Anyway, for the sake of the fucking podcast and for me, the accent continues. It's going to sound like this.
Oh, that's perfect. I love it.
Good well done.
Apologies that I am. Stop patronising me, you all die, you bastards.
If you want to know why he's Australian, join the Discord and I'll chat to you. It's my favourite thing I've ever thought of.
And it is
quite good, actually.
It really fits.
Yeah.
I like.
Anyway, so yeah, we've got these two colleges. We've got the Torrance, which is for your more martial. It's slowly coming back. There's more the martial training, and then you've got the Covenant, which is into evocation and transmutation magics. There are two schools that are based in Menzoberranzan. There are a couple of libraries floating around, but they're more for like there's one which is basically just a collection of romance novels.
Where is that one?
Take the girl out of D&D. It would be if you head towards City Square in centre town, put big points towards the massive beacon in the middle. Go there, follow the signs round, and you're looking for the Crones. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, the Crones Library. It's a couple of streets off that.
There you go.
If you're looking for more, I mean, Graven Hollow is a couple of days travel back and starts to point towards like these you notice out, even though the cavern is massive, you can see these large gaping holes that act almost like cavern offshoots. And it kind of points to one of the ones towards the it would be the west. He goes, yeah, if you want to go through one of those, you'll probably find your way towards Graven Hollow that way.
That one? What does that one pertain to?
Graven Hollow is basically one of the biggest libraries of the known universe at the moment, with the exception of obviously the Codex. But Graven Hollow is basically where we've been keeping all of our like communications and stuff like that, and like city planning and all that goes there. But also like any texts and stuff like that. Found a right doozy a couple of weeks ago. That's even funnier if you imagine it was the accent. And a right doozy. Fucking hate myself.
Oh, we love you there.
We love it. It's great.
In my brain, they're wearing safari gear. Oh, no, they're not, but in my brain, they are.
All with a hat bent on one side. Anyway,
What's in a rifle?
yeah, all you're right. And then every now and then a cow walks by and
So you've got an office being
That was literally the thing you just made me do
anyway, yeah, there was a Rockford book that was found, Necronomicon, it's a bit of a bad book. Can do quite a bit of stuff, but managed to lock it in safe areas of Graven Hollow.
Awesome!
I'm sorry, what was that last book? I always asking them.
Yeah, the Necronomicon.
Oh yeah, what's bad about it?
Most people that read it go mad.
That sounds pretty fun.
Like if you go meet one-eye Larry in the city guards, he was the guy who found it, and he read the first page. He can't remember anything past the age of 25 at the moment.
That's fun, isn't it?
Sorry, I love the thing. But yes. So if you're here for the library, I'm assuming business. Pleasure, or again, looking at yourself, Adam, you don't mind me saying?
It's a mix.
Mix of the two.
Yeah, take my shield off and like, I only have to like show him the
Oh, that's
green screen. Like, don't worry about it. I'm just I'm like a sort of pilgrimage myself.
Yeah, you want to go if you go follow towards the Covenant and it points towards as you're facing it, the left side, like Colosseum type building that seems to be one of the two colleges at the back of the city. You go there, follow it round to the graveyard that's just behind it. There is a church, the Raven Queen there, that you would probably find. such information and stuff that you're looking for there.
Oh, you're sweet. Good man.
Anything else we can help you with before we go into the city today? Any things to declare? Any issues, problems? Can I ask you all to clean your boots because we don't let dirt from other cities into.
Your dried fruit isn't allowed in. You're not allowed dried fruit into the Underdark.
We also don't allow culture, anything.
They allow very specific culture from one place.
Have any of you been kicked out of Waterdeep recently? Because we find a lot of the prisoners of Waterdeep are sent here.
No.
Oh dear.
Can we just go to the city? Can we just go to the city?
Yeah, fine.
Can I keep my fruit?
Fruit? I mean, yeah, as long as you're not throwing it at people.
No, it's only to myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Perville.
When there's a bit of it kind of leads forward towards you all, as I said, there's a bit of a thing where apparently we're known to be somewhat degenerate in this city because we're underdark and we don't see the sun and all that. But I'm honest with you, it's no different to any other city I've been to. I've been to a couple.
I've only ever been to one.
Far less civilized.
Right, well, good luck with the sheep then.
Yes.
Quite excited. This is the first city that's not Luskan.
Well, they're not normally underground.
They move out of the way, the gates open, you're allowed to walk through as you enter into.
No, it's didgeridoo music.
You see a man carrying a couple of children along with white hair, glasses. And
No.
Can you tell where he's yet?
No. Absolutely so bad. You started doing the didgeridoo and I went to add wobble board and went, nope.
I saw you.
No.
I added.
No.
Well then. Anyway. There's a massive tree in the middle of the city. Anyway, cool. So you guys sort of head into the main thoroughfare. There are a load of houses and stuff spreading around you. They're quite similar to the houses for yourself. They're quite similar to the houses of Luskan. They are built in a kind of they're for need not commodity seems to be the design of the houses. So they are built to purpose, quite regimented, quite small. The more lavish you can see as you're passing into the city are towards the two Colosseums at the back. But yes, you head down the thoroughfare. The light of this beacon in the middle of the city feels a bit like if you didn't know the beacon was there, it would feel like midday sun. There's falling down upon you, but it has this kind of reddish tint. People you're passing either side of you as you come down the middle as the horses are being going through the middle, and there's more pedestrianised travel on the outskirts of the road that you're walking down. You see a predominantly drow. There are one or two tieflings that stick out, a couple of dwarfs, and almost one to every 30-40 that you see are human. But predominantly drow and dwarven in terms of the main citizens that you can see.
Sweet.
You guys are heading towards the library is what you want to do. Cool. Make an investigation check with disadvantage because you've not been here before.
Well, doesn't really matter. That is 2.
Oh no.
Minus.
Investigation, did you say?
Yes.
Ah, slightly better. That is an entire 6.
That's not bad. I mean, we're still lost.
Yeah.
Actually, quickly before this happens, Ellipsis rides up alongside you, Klaxis, and goes, by the way, you didn't see this happen, and he brings Boggle out of his pack, whispers into the head area of the construct, and then just throws it down on the floor. You see it skitter off into the brush of people, and comes running back towards Ellipsis, climbs up the side of the horse, and then sits on his leg with a pouch in his hand. Opens the pouch and goes, right, 50 gold?
Right.
Lovely. And the 50 gold.
Sweet. And it's just for the means.
Ties it up. Anyway, and that's my money replaced.
Yeah, just, is he a dab hand at that?
He's good at subterfuge and sneak stuff that I can sense. It's quite good. Like the other day, I had 10 rounds of rations. Then found out someone had been using 2 of my rations for some sort of weird Olympics thing he had set up around the campfire. Like he had a disc made out of one of the biscuits, and he was throwing it. I'm starting to question if these things are just constructs or if they're like haunted by
I
something.
ask him the question.
So,
I'm mostly out of fear because you've made a tiny devil.
I mean, if you think that, look at big guy and points towards Phil.
I know, but he's taking spot. Where has he gone? He's taking spot in for a distance.
You turn around and you see that Hororae and Pivot are missing, and there are a couple of people with junk parts walking along. Joking.
Pivot's got like a cloth over his head to hide himself. Like a peacock.
Shame. Anyway,
Hey, so,
your answer's 6 altogether. Lovely. So, you guys start to head towards the central aisle of this kind of almost like a spider's web stretching out with the road systems of the city. So you're going down the main thoroughfare towards the centre where this beacon sits. As you get towards the centre of the beacon, you see there's a walled kind of area around the beacon's base with guards patrolling both inside and outside of the wall. Looking around, no one seems to be battering an eyelid at the fact that you're here or the fact that that these guards are here. There is nothing untoward, apparently. As you wander around looking for people to guide you towards some sort of library, you keep getting told about the crones, but you're not told about anything else.
Can I head off? I'll talk to the group. Do you mind if I go off to my chapel for me? Just a brief little chat time. I'll meet you in a. Was it the left-hand college we had?
Yeah, so a couple
Sweet, it's around the back of that plan.
So we're
Well,
heading
we'll
that
follow
way
you
anyway,
this
and
far.
then
Yeah.
you shoot off around the back. We'll do whatever you guys are doing.
Yeah, I've made a note of where the crones is, by the way.
Yes.
Can I see if I can ascertain anything about the beacon?
Yeah.
Seems to be quite well guarded. I'm
yeah,
just intrigued to.
steal it.
asking around, you are informed that they head physicians, as they're referred to in the Covenant, are responsible for the light because there is no actual natural sunlight in the area, but people are in need of light for some races. They've created a sun at the top of the beacon that does not affect drow sensitivity to sunlight. So the red beam is actually just a fake. It's basically like a nightlight in the middle of the city that allows for those that don't have dark vision to see, but also allows those that have sunlight sensitivity to continue about their day without having to deal with that. You notice that there are a crowd of gingers around the bottom of it and everything.
It's a natural, like, relaxed, like.
Anyway,
Cool.
that's what you ascertain when asking around about the light.
Okay.
Cool. So, anything that anyone else wants to do, or are we heading towards Klaxis?
Le brewery.
Le brewery.
The lab.
This is the brewery.
Where
where the French beer is made.
don't make me do a French-Australian accent, please.
Monsieur, mate.
Painful.
Good day, monsieur. I've got this lovely...
Oh, the
No.
French Australians, they molest sheep, then burn the evidence.
No, it's a le brewery. It's where they brew books.
They brew the oh, the sleep's returned.
We go to the
that's
library.
known as the publishers,
Yeah.
just so you're aware.
I'm brewing the books.
Or an
No, it's
accountant.
that feeling. It's that feeling when you're trying to write something where it's still a little bit too foggy. It's a little brewery.
Fuck off.
We could have cancelled the session.
I'm,
We actually could
We
have.
were fine after the last one. I don't know what happened.
The
Also-
last one, you didn't spend the weekend partying, basically.
Fuck off.
I
Is that
mean,
what
neither
we're
did I.
for?
We did not spend the weekend
What were you doing
partying.
at 4 a.m. in the morning?
Anywho, so you guys start to head
Yeah,
towards
boy.
the Colosseum at the back there. As you're going along, Ellipsis suggests that he's going to drop off to go find himself a sword and such, because he is currently walking around with these 2 hand axes that he's found from in the forge.
Sure.
There.
I know.
Sorry,
Sure,
bitch.
one of them was mine.
No, he handed yours back.
Oh, did you give my back?
Yes,
Yep.
he did. If anyone pay attention to me, the fucking world, Adam is the only person.
I'm Suzy.
Adam, you are my best
I'm doing
player.
character stuff.
You're my best player.
Oh,
You
I love you.
you should never tell your kids which one's the favourite one, but Adam.
Stephen, Stephen.
Anyway, so before this goes any further into that cancelled TV show,
2.5 minutes. Just me and Stephen hiding a body.
For fuck's sake.
Ellipsis says he's going to go find a sword and a shield.
Okay. We got this.
It's alright, we've only got another 50 minutes of this.
This is so good. Don't please stop tapping. It's the actual worst.
Anyway, so you guys start to head down these roads, and as you're going up and down these streets, trying to find your way towards the the Colosseums, you start to notice that the closer you get towards the Covenant, the clientele around the streets changes. For what was once just your average kind of typical like cloth shirts, trousers, sort of average civilian, turns into more monkish robes and, for want of a better word, if you've played any tabletop games, tabletop RPG games such as like Skyrim, where they always seem to have the acolyte's hood and the acolyte's garments, and they're all looking like simple cultish robes. Anyway,
Potato sacks and the rope around the middle.
yes, yeah, thank you. Dopping is a free help. Anyway,
No, stop.
stop it now. Yes,
Focus,
good.
focus.
You notice as well that much like when you were seeing the 1 to every 40, there was a human. This time you are starting to notice that every now and then you notice a paladin-like looking figure, but they are wearing jet black armours with raven's feathers around the shoulder pad areas. And my brain is falling asleep as it goes, but they are all drow and elven descent that are these paladins.
They're like the raven.
They're like the raven. They look like the raven. They all have golden bands on their arms, and they're followed by children that are carrying little wooden sticks with cloth on.
Sweet.
Stop. Anyway, yes, so you were wandering towards this way.
Yeah.
As you get towards the entrances of the Colosseum, this building rises up literally in this kind of circular motion, much like the Colosseum in Rome. There, instead of windows, there are just holes in the wall that act as like air ducts for the building, and you can hear from inside chanting. You can hear music, and you can hear this like low thrum of arcane energy. Klaxis, you seeing that this is the entrance to this area, start to follow round the way on horse, round the side of this building towards the.
I can hear it. It's good. It's there. Are you adding it in?
Horses are loud enough. Anyway, you guys.
Brilliant tool.
You guys head round. You head round the side, Klaxis. I'm assuming that Planchett, you're going with Hororae, or are you
I'm
going?
going to the library.
You're going to the
As long as we're
library.
going to the library.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we have 3 things, each of equal importance. The first person to be dealt with is.
Go, Captain.
Did you roll a 4? There's 3 of us. It's 4 dots.
There's a lovely trip. He walks into the blacksmith and he just gets a sword and everyone's happy. Anyway, no. Planchett.
Yeah.
This is why I bought this space. Because I know what's coming. You start to hunt around looking for a library now. The closest thing to... what sort of thing are you looking for a library for? What research specifically are you aiming for?
I'm doing multiple research things.
Yes.
I want to look for any information that will help Hororae.
Hororae.
But I'm also... My primary target is looking up what boss wanted me to find.
Cool.
So...
Lovely. So... You enter the Colosseum with Hororae. You both enter to see this kind of luxurious marble reception area with fountains either side, with kind of cherub-like angelic creatures floating around, letting water from the walls down into these pools that sit either side. The more fun part of this is the fact that the water has then been manipulated through magic to create sculptures in the middle of these fountain areas. To the left you can see a manticore, and to the right you can see a mind flayer. They're just making animals of some sort. And then you see the most beautiful character in the world. Sat behind the reception desk is a young man, shirtless.
Oh no.
Slick back.
Doesn't work in a library.
He works wherever I fucking tell him to.
Too much books can kill you.
No.
Reading on my own. Beat it by books. Beat it by books. I don't have the time for my lack of index.
I'm too sorry. Sitting behind the reception is a quite chiseled looking gentleman. Slicked hair, fabulous moustache. Apparently he's allowed to work shirtless. As you notice, a couple of elven boys and girls walking past and just looking and then walking on, smiling and giggling to each other. Looks up and
Continue.
I can't look at you, Kyra.
Now you know my pain.
Oh, the death stare.
It's okay. This isn't the face that Planchett's pulling. She's very
No,
happy.
she doesn't know who
She's
he is.
super
Yeah.
happy.
She's jealous. Like,
Remember that Kyra researches a lot of genocide
Oh, it's fine because
as a hobby.
as a hobby.
isn't genocide where you kill a generation of people or like
No.
he's one person?
Yeah,
I mean,
she still knows
scorched
how
earth
to kill you.
tactics can happen. What?
Sorry? Oh, it's fine. If you want to start playing this game, remember who has all the cards. I get the deck of many things and plus. Anyway,
Just because I pick bad at deck of many things.
Repeatedly.
It's just like pulling from it, okay?
you pulled the one that pulled the avatars of death. Anyway,
That is also true.
Different
I
campaign,
just
didn't
cursed
happen.
myself.
anyway, so you guys enter. You see this gentleman. He is just sat gently
Do you know what the
scribbling
disgusting
away.
thing is? Planchett's slightly dazzled. And I'm fucking disgusted with her right now.
I love
As-
your truth and commitment to the character.
As
Find
you
the
both
truth makes you
enter,
beautiful.
the gentleman looks up and goes, "Hello, how may I help? Welcome to the Covenant. I
Oh dear God.
am your receptionist.
Uh-huh.
How may I help?"
Well, I've got this thing to do. I need
It's okay. I
to
get this all the
find-
time.
Can I?
Just look at the water statues behind me.
Are you seriously distracted by this?
He's really shiny.
That's because it's very warm in here.
Oh, it's glistening.
Oh,
Oh, that shouldn't be sexy.
But it is.
I need to find things out. First about necromancers, horomancers, and artificers. I think that's both me and you, Hororae.
That would be quite useful,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I need further information, as much as you can possibly give me, / where to find said information if we don't have it. On when I find where I put my list. On Gaon? Is it Gaon?
Garion?
Garion? Yeah, I'm really bad.
So,
Garion.
Get your gay on.
I'm terribly sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah?
but I have a very limited attention span some days. Simple requests, just short sentences.
Chronomancers.
Chronomancers love it.
Stygia?
Stygia.
Garion.
Garion.
Entrance to Stygia.
Entrances to Stygia.
Yeah.
Awesome. That can work with.
Cool. I'll
You're
be
panicking.
back for more.
It's going to be okay.
I don't think I'm going blind.
It's going to be alright.
Will you be here to take me through this?
Planchett, do I need to slap you?
If you want to slap her, I'll watch. But
Oh, don't ruin Fred Mercury by making him like that. Was that Steve or was that Mercury saying that?
I think that might have been Steve.
Or should I find a picture of what I imagine he's wearing?
okay,
But yeah,
so
yeah,
let
yeah.
me
I'm
first ask you these questions.
Yeah.
Are you paying guild members of the Covenant? Because I don't recognise your faces.
How much is it to be a guild member?
You first have to forego all earthly pleasures. You then have to give your soul and being to someone of high renown.
I've kind of already done the contract thing.
I was joking, but that's...
What is
Oh,
it?
it's that one, yes.
What is it?
It's from his 39th birthday where he wore like the really sexies.
That is really hard.
But take the jacket off.
The what?
The really sexies. He wore the sexies.
I imagine it's got like, you know, that leather like chest belt thing.
From Radio Gaga.
Mhm.
I don't mind.
Mhm.
I don't mind where it's from. It just
Don't mind.
Like that.
Don't mind. No, cross. Like cross.
Either way.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry,
trying to
I
watch
was
his
joking.
chest.
It's 5 gold a month. So...
I thrust
What?
5 gold at him.
You see why I didn't want it to be Planchett first. Anyway,
I'm just repeating your.
anyway,
Shut up!
thank you. First is that payment, but also you need to have a mentor from one of the teaching circle. The physicians don't.
Do you have to be a member to be able to access the research?
Well, you can access the library, you can access the civilians' library, for want of a better term.
Would I be able to find the information that I'm looking for in the civilians' library?
I'm crunching the numbers in my head. I'm doing some
Can I
maths.
insight check it?
You can indeed.
While she's doing that, I'm like,
Natural 1.
oh!
This guy is focused purely on your job right now. He doesn't care about anything else in this world.
Sure.
He needs to make sure that you get the right information.
Sure.
Chris Traeger, but rather than enjoying running, is interested in your study.
Oh my god,
Commitment
this
to
just
customer
gets fucking
service.
messy.
Hororae Moro? Oh, we need to go find some things? Oh, we need to go... Anyway. Sorry. I can't Rob... He's not Rob Lowe. He's not Rob Lowe.
He is now. He's this wonderful mix of. Oh my god! Right. Anyway.
Fangirls. Yeah.
I'm a doctor of history. I come from Luskan.
no.
Yes, I am.
No, sorry.
Oh,
Fangirl. Just want some research. Continue.
thank you. Doctor. But I do have, and I week out of my.
You're a doctor.
Yeah, I'm a
did you say?
doctor. I am a doctor of history.
Ah,
Specifically Luskan. Looking to do more on tourism.
I would like you to hold that thought right there.
Holding.
Why am I doing this more Chris Traeger now? Sorry.
I'm holding your card.
That is disgusting, but you continue doing it.
Oh.
I'm going to go through that door over there and points at one of the... There are several doors that are going off this room. I'm going to go chat with someone and see if your degree is basically going to get you round the system. You don't need to be...
I do also have a letter from my mentor back home. It's... She don't have a mum. She's alone in the world.
Oh.
Come on,
Yeah,
we got this.
she's got a letter from her academic mentor. Admittedly, it isn't a letter of introduction, but it does touch upon her qualifications if you need it as evidence.
Full name with doctorate, please.
I am Dr. Susanna Planchett. I have a doctorate in history, specifically Luscan, and I'm looking to expand that to include things like tourism.
Okay, lovely. And she's your +1.
Yes.
Gesturing towards Hororae. Hold that thought. I will be back in just a moment. And he walks
very
out through the door.
When you're a guild member, but it's not for the right guild. Am I right?
Are you okay, Hororae?
That was not Hororae. That was not Hororae. If you hadn't guessed. Sorry, does Hannah speak in a higher pitch? Is that how we differentiate?
Sounded like you were trying to be Bo from.
I've not listened to her in ages. I'm so close.
Anyway.
I'm fangirled with. Never
Enough
mind.
of you two
stop.
now. I've listened to you enough. Klaxis.
I hardly said anything.
I know, and it was wonderful. You got a whole chat.
I know. I don't need any more.
I'm trying to balance the
I
story.
know, and I appreciate.
Okay, Steve, Adam,
Klaxis,
go.
you and me, buddy, we're going off the edge of this cliff together. Thelma or Louise. Anyway,
I'm the car.
yay! I'm
not going to follow. No.
Shush.
Easy. There you go.
So,
I'm ready.
don't shout that after you say what you just said. Anyway, so.
Didn't shout it. Sorry, go. Character.
Acting. This will stop. This will stop and we will be back to normal a week after the next one.
This is the jolly week.
This is all... Anyway, Klaxis, you come round the side and you find this graveyard. It is a typical looking graveyard. It has picket fence around it, metal picket fence. There are gravestones marking previous centuries of civilians that lived here. You can see that the older ones are closer to the centre of the city, and it gets newer the closer you get up the stretch of this kind of walkway that goes up the centre of it. Coming up to this very small, grey-looking building, looks like this might be a reference that you might not get, but you know the church in Red Dead Redemption where you meet Sid?
Yep.
That church there.
Oh, okay.
That very small one-room building type thing. Look at Red Dead Redemption, or like that time period look of small churches if you're looking for that sort of building. Anyway, shutters against the windows, the slats that make the walls are heavily degraded and look like they've had the last paint job they had was a couple of centuries ago. You enter a jar door to find a few pews and a central large raven statue at the far end of the church. Sorry. Yes. That.
Oh.
Cool. I was going to wander.
This is really cool.
Thank you, tabletop audio. Yeah.
Great. I just walk up to the grave and the statue and put like a couple of copper down.
Lovely. As you place copper down, a female figure steps out of the door to the left of the raven. She is in simple acolyte clothing, so black robes with the kind of, is it Cossack that goes around the top of the shoulder? Am I going mad?
I think so.
Isn't that a Russian soldier?
I think it's both.
I can think of the slurs, I can't think of the actual name. Anyway,
Let's just say yes.
let's say yes. Anyway, she steps out, hair tied back in a tight bun, pinched expression, pale white skin. She just kind of looks and gives you a briefest of smiles, nods, and then starts to walk down the central aisle back towards the doors of the church.
Sorry, are you like the Reverend or whatever? Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Yes. How may?
are you in charge of like looking after this church?
No. Her Holy Mother is in charge of this building. I just look after it for her on this plane.
Right, let's come out and look after the physical buildings. Right now.
I mean, I I don't do much.
I can tell that. Jokingly smart, but I've contributed a little bit to the kitty, so...
Thank you. That will pay towards the replenishment of this building and hopefully other things.
Alright, do you know, I'm trying to look for something, look at like an ancient, drow fighter that's buried somewhere near here.
And she kind of, as you say this, she kind of raises her hands and starts to rub the bridge of her nose.
Of course, I'm listening to glasses before.
Looks at you and just goes, "Are you another one of the supposed followers of?" I can't. No, I can't. Do you have any form of identification? Do you have? Are you just passing through?
Yeah, it's Klaxis. I'm from Fire. I take my shield off and
Okay,
shield
so you have a shield.
Yeah, grand and all, but
Do you have anything that suggests other than just a rando that has stepped off the street?
I get my notebook out with all the things and the death wise, just throw it and just take
flick
it.
through. Ah. Okay. Cool. Closes the book.
She kind of came to me not too long back.
Hands you the book back.
Cheers.
You are here to look for Furian's blade.
Right.
Now, there have been many that have followed this path, and I believe that Furian has done this on purpose again. Well, I say he, it's not his choice. He being the last known champion of the Raven Queen, if you will, died in battle against Orcus.
Right.
And unfortunately was buried with his blade, which has meant that certain people have been... Have you had a vision of him? Has he informed you must pick up arms?
No, not him.
No?
No.
Do you find yourself slipping into fits of rage
No, not yet.
and wanting to murder people?
No, is that normal?
There are specific types of people that have come
No,
to my church asking about this.
I just want to know as much as I can about death and the Raven Queen.
Okay, well, if you are looking to just pay homage or you want to visit his grave, it is found... well, there's no actual precise location in terms of a city to point you towards, but if you search to the south of here, in the Underdark, you may find what you're looking for. Most people that have made the journey with more expert guidance have found it within 3 or 4 days' travel. The signings that you're on the right track, I believe there are a couple. You're looking for this. There is a cavern with a weeping colossus in the middle. It is a stone figure with water running from its eyelets. Maybe somewhat submerged. The floor of the cavern. Once you've got past that, you're looking depending on which way you go, there is a small mind flayer encampment down that way, or a Durgar city, or I say city, a kind of outpost that has been trying to work on mining facilities for Menzoberranzan. Once you've got past those, I believe there's a simple lava streams, and then you're there.
Thanks, so it's just a carefree jaunt. Why have you never gone looking for it?
Oh, I've been. It is harrowing, and if you choose to go there, may the mother have full guidance on your soul, because it is not something for the light-hearted.
That's as ever cheery.
Yes, our line of business.
He's like big grin. It's nice cheery. Well, business isn't probably the worst for it.
Are you going for the blade, or are you simply paying respects?
I don't know yet.
I will give you a word of warning. The last gentleman that came for the blade did not return. However, I did make a brief journey down to find out what had happened to him, and I found half of his remains.
That's fun. What had happened?
None of us are too sure.
Woods well.
Anyway, I've got some business in town, so I will leave you to pay your respects and gestures back to the statue.
Well, it's like one more thing, like, because death is normal and it's natural and it happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it hurt?
Why does death hurt?
Right.
It depends on your school of thought. There are some that follow different deities and different religious cults, or whatever you want to refer to them as, who would suggest that you have a small ball of energy that sits inside of you, and the pain that you're feeling at death is that being wrenched from your physical being and passed through the gates towards the fields of Elysium. Our studies would suggest that our patron guides your soul or some form of incorporeal being towards the same goal. Something seems to be taken from the body at death, and the best way to describe it is a rending of something. That may be why the pain is there.
Sweet.
Um,
Can I do a perception check?
yeah, make a perception check.
Like, whilst I've been in Menzoberranzan, have I seen any nonsense?
Yeah, make a perception check. 2 perception checks for me, boss. One with advantage.
18 and 13. No, 18 and 13.
Lovely. The 13 with the advantage.
Yeah.
The
other way around, sorry.
Sorry.
18 was with the advantage, 13 is normal.
Lovely. So 13 we'll use as you're walking through the streets. You keep getting that smoky feeling in the corner of your eye, and it seems to be persistent now. As you are walking along, you're not sure if it's sleep, but you have been doing a lot of the watches recently, so you're starting to get a sense that maybe you are just tired. However, as you are having this conversation with the acolyte, you are sure that every time your eyes look from her face to the doors behind her, you can see that same shadowy figure with red eyes just sat very casually, leant against one of the gravestones, legs crossed, arms crossed, just kind of looking as if he's waiting for someone, or they are waiting for someone. Excuse me, we shouldn't gender a smoky being. Anyway.
Can you see that?
Turns around. Yeah. What am I looking at? Gravestones, door. There is some sort of cloudy thing.
Oh, that's the fucker.
I assume it's some sort of smoke coming off one of the graves. We get that every now and then. It's a weird thing.
Cheers, thanks.
Don't worry.
Good luck with the church.
Thank you. Good luck with your travel. Then she offers her hand out to you. Leviticus.
Good. Klaxis.
Sorry. Shakes your hand and leaves. Walks up to, as she's leaving, you watch as she walks up to where this figure is sat and starts to look down towards the grave, starts to wave her hands around. It disturbs the creature's being, as if like when you knock smoke that's coming up in a straight, it kind of disperses and then returns back to normal. And you see the faintest of red lines curling into a smile where the mouth would be, and then it blinks out of existence.
Cool. I'm gonna go look in that there grave.
We'll come back to that
Okay.
in a second. Lovelies.
Yeah.
So Mercury returns, and oh, how we've waited.
Because he's been living on his own.
I'm gonna stun you.
Would that be some sort of like emotional breakthrough?
So,
Please continue.
So, I have spoken to the on-site physician, and we are suggesting that you are allowed access to the library area, not just the civilian area. You will be allowed access to all of the library.
Mhm.
However, the rest of the building is off limits. You're not allowed into any of the study rooms. You're not allowed into any of the training rooms, any of that sort of thing. You have to essentially go for initiation, if you like that sort of thing. You'd have to become a student of the Colosseum. But we can work on that if that's something you'd like to do. However, I get off shift in about 45 minutes, and it's about a 50-minute job, so it's not happening today.
I mean, I'm going to be around for a few days. What?
Yeah,
I think
Klaxis
it's
kept
far
bringing-
and beyond what we need.
That's fine.
But thank you for your generosity.
I mean, it's not mine. It is
Yes.
the physician's.
Please tell them thank you if I don't see them. It's really, it's...
Oh, you'll probably meet one or two of them. They,
Oh, I hope so.
we have a chronicler who looks after the library, who is one of the physicians. They work they each focus on their own little ball of magic that they like the most. But anyway, I can guide you through this way, and gestures to another door on the left wall. And then, would you like to follow after me, and I will show you the library.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. Takes you down through this door into a thin corridor that has a couple of doors to the right. You can see the thoroughfare and the city at large out of the holes in the walls that are to the left of you in this room, in this corridor. Sorry, follows it right round, and you get the sense that you've gone about a good quarter of the distance of the circle before he stops following these corridors and takes a single key from his belt, unlocks one of the doors and opens the door there. It has a simple book logo on the door. The rest of them have no logos. Opens the door and gestures inside. You have until it is about says about midday now with how tired I'm feeling. So I would go with you have about 5 or 6 hours to yourselves. Well, you in the library,
Yeah.
and you may do as you please. If you'd like to sign out with the receptionist that will be here when I leave, well, that'd be most appreciated. Anyway, enjoy.
What time do you open in the morning? Just before you go.
We have quite a casual open here, depending on who the receptionist is. I like to go for a 9 a.m. for 9:30 kind of type feel. So like the door might be open, it might not. It definitely will be at 9:30. If you run into one of my other colleagues, they go for an 8:30 start. Some of them go for a 7 start. It depends which one you get. There's at least 4 of us on the staff that I know of, and.
You're taking the piss out of me.
What was that?
Nothing. Is it my detriment? Don't you worry.
I didn't understand what you were saying, so I was asking just in case the podcast wanted to.
I said you were taking the piss out of me.
Taking the piss out of you?
Yeah.
No,
but
I'm
now for
not.
9:30.
No, that wasn't taking the piss out of you.
Sure.
Cool. Just in case you need reminding Hororae and things about you. Anyway, it's about me because I'm Mercury. Anyway, so.
No, I'm not great in the mornings anyway.
That's
so.
fine, never mind. As I said, 9:30. Anyway, and that's if I've not been drinking the night before. So come for 10 if I'm on. Anyway, yes, like I said, help yourself. I will let the next receptionist know that you are here.
Thank you.
And like I say, sign with them. What did you want?
Yes.
He starts walking down the corridor.
Bye.
Bye!
Thanks.
Thank you.
When you've done drooling.
I
Yeah.
can feel the thirst.
Just like that. Yeah. Yep. Shall we get started on your stuff and then I can do mine?
Stepping into the room, there is just aisles and aisles of different books. Each have different labels and logos on the end of the aisle to show what sort of subject you are looking at as you go in. The first one you can see would be air elementals through to
So not really a Dewey Decimal System fan.
If you want me to invent the Dewey Decimal System in the middle of this game. Anyway, our elementals through to what's the name of that place? I can never remember. It starts with an A and sounds like Anarok.
Cool. Go hunting.
Go hunting. So,
Yep.
I will ask you both to make investigation checks if you're looking for specific things, or you can have one person lead it with advantage.
Do you want to? Because I'm helping you for this. Do you want to lead with advantage? Would that be this?
Specifically looking for your stuff.
So.
That was fine to start off with. What was that? Investigation?
Investigation.
Ooh. 21?
21.
21.
Looking around, you find little
So
on...
good at
Because
investigation.
you're first looking at chronomancers.
Mm-hmm.
So you start looking around, trying to find things on chronomancers. There is a simple book that you struggle to read. You have seen text like this before, and it is you know it to be written in wizard's short type. They have a kind of like a glyph they kind of write in to make it easy for them to understand. You've seen this when you've worked in your dad's kind of workshop. When he got certain things in, there'd be protection spells and such on them. Looking through the book, you get because there are titles in each part, you get the sense that this is literally a spell book which has all time spells in it. However, you can't understand it because you've never studied wizardry.
Question?
Yes?
I do have the Ice the Ringkeeper, so I can read all writing.
Reading it, you can divulge. Essentially, it explains the incantation, the components, how the spell is cast. Essentially, confirm the suspicion that essentially is a timed spell book. It has so you have Time Stop, you have Misty Step, you have a couple of that seem to be under this book.
Anything about plane shift, maybe?
Plane shift, no.
No? Okay, no plane shift.
Apparently not in this book.
Okay, dokie.
Well, that is frustratingly interesting.
I mean, I can, if it's something you think you'd use, I'm going to be here for I can just try and decipher it for you. Going to be of any use?
Is it likely to be...
Because neither of you can cast wizardry spells.
No, can't cast wizardry spells, so I don't think it would be. Yeah,
okay, no worries. So,
interesting to know that it exists.
Yeah.
You know. Frustrating that that's all I can find.
Is there any markings that would suggest who the wizard was?
No, it just seems to be a simple collection of spells that have been written up. You know that both of you would know, especially because of that sort of thing, that wizards have their own spellbooks and can recreate their spellbooks without using a specific shorthand to themselves. They can just use one, which is a bit like Esperanto, an acceptable language for all.
What?
Esperanto.
Esperanto.
It was a language made up that was like a perfect language that had no like double meanings or faults, and no one uses it.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
It's the ultimate universal language, and it's shit.
I would like to purchase that small and collectible ball and a bucket and spade. The chicken was marvellous. My compliments to the chef. Red Dwarf. Anyway. I'm that guy, I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
Anywho, looking around, you find books. The closest thing that you can find to information that would help you is a book that marks the years. To make it up off the top of my head. We'll go there. It marks the years free. Wait a minute, fam. Wait a minute.
Thoughts are
Did
happening.
you say, wait a minute, fam?
Yes.
He's a lit bay, isn't he?
I hope that hurt.
Did you...
The year 298 AD. It is a chronicle of some rather fun going-ons that happened in Arcadia. This was the invention of the as you flick through it, the blurb at the back and also the first few pages explain that it is looking at they created a glyph or a stone of some sort that allows them to jump between planes of existence for a reference that you'll get, much like Singorn in Critical Role. So how the city can just be pulled out of existence and placed into another plane through.
I love that I know that now. I'm far enough in. I understand.
If you don't get the reference, it's been 5 or 6 years. Catch up. Anywho, yes, that is that book. Briefly reading through the first few pages suggests it's more like, let's say, like a diary of any sort. It's more just like almost like the newspaper clippings have been written up about the studies, the brief information about the studies that were going on. You get the 2 names. Let me just remind myself, because although I made the year up, the name is definitely something I need to tell you. Of course it is, because it's Stephen. Analoch, Analoch.
These are places.
No, these are the people who are studying. So Chronomancer, Analoch, and the other one was
The Holy Hand Grenade of.
that was Graham Chapman. Anyway, which would be beautiful. No, the other one is Antiquus. So Antiquus. They are the 2 chronomancers that were chief or the lead of this creation of these glyphs that allows it to jump between existing planes.
I'm gonna read the fuck out of this.
Cool. You take that book and you go sit down. As we have a couple of minutes left, Planchett,
Yeah.
let's get to your thing.
Yeah.
You were looking for Stygia. You were looking for Geryon.
Geryon. Also, the other things that were mentioned, which was
Geryon, entrance to Stygia. Tamtlin is the city on Stygia, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Roll an investigation check.
Yay. That is 16.
Lovely. Because of the time, and because also it'll be a fun thing to end on.
Ay.
Wandering around, you struggle to find anything on Tamtlin.
Mm-hmm.
You struggle to find. You find a couple of when searching up Stygia, you find books on the 9 Hells in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a brief description of people's travels into the 9 Hells, where they've tried to make expeditions to either create land or not create land, create civilization there, or they have had some scourge into the cities that are on each of the planes, such as Dis or Tamtlin. One brief one about Tamtlin was that there was a very, very cold day and not a lot was found. And then it is left like that. However, leaving you 2 in the library with this.
Aye.
You're looking around and you find a book specifically with a chapter called Geryon. And it is as you go to sit down, you close the book, you're just flicking through them, you're not really paying attention to any of the books, but you're flicking through the books, and you then close the book seeing this name, go down to sit with Hororae to read this book and study a bit more, because you've got a couple of hours left, and you then put the book in front of you, and you look at the title of the book, and it says The Demon Lords.
You don't fuck up, bitch.
Lay off her. She's lovely.
Anywho, that is where we'll be leaving you 2 for this session. Klaxis.
Studying like the nerds we are.
Cute nerds.
Ah, ow.
Did you just twat your head on the chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, Klaxis. You go over, just as Leviticus is leaving, you go over to this gravestone where the creatures disappeared. I want you to make a wisdom saving throw first.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, natural one.
Number 1.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Here lie the body of under this sword lies another.
That's your sword.
I like that a lot.
You go over and you turn around to see what the gravestone says, and it reads, "Here lies the body of Klaxis."
Oh!
You immediately panic, stepping back, and you fall over, knocking the back of your head against the gravestone behind you, and you are knocked unconscious. And we will leave that
What?
for the end of the session.
I'm not dead. What am I dead?
Am I dead, or am I just living in
That's why no one was talking to me. I was a ghost all along.
Alright, Bruce.
Anyway, so
Oh, fuck you, Steve.
fun for next session. Lovely. Thank you very much, lovelies, for watching. We'll call it short just because tired, doesn't give a fuck. Kyra.
It was a good place to leave it.
It was a good place to
Yeah,
leave it.
You don't want to
reading.
you don't want to
You-
go past a
Yeah.
plot point.
But also, you two will get some stuff over the 2 weeks between now and the next session.
I can't wait to print it
Remember,
out and highlight.
14th is the next session.
I've been having so much fun with post-it notes. Seriously, guys.
Also, he didn't die. Whatever she says, he didn't die.
He fucking went.
He's an Azamar, and my ruling in the
He
world is
wasn't
that
a fucking Azamar! He was not an Azamar when we start. Was he?
in the first session, he sprung wings out and stood in front of the warg you were attacking, which is the reason you don't like him.
I fucking hate him. I mean, I love him. I love the idea of him, but I hate him. Okay.
It's alright, it's because you're just jealous there was a fully fledged character at the table. Anyway. I remember what you said about Savvy. Don't give it shit.
You've got punch.
I brought Punch
Gentle.
back. I brought Punch back. It was a lovely
Not that
thing.
every character you have is racist against someone.
Look, they just don't like a lot of people.
Do you
I don't know why.
D&D's really good like therapy and it shows a lot about your subconscious. But all my characters are flawed as fuck and end up hating themselves. Yours are all really fun and slightly bitchy. Yours are all Kyra, all yours are racist.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is daddy issues. They happen. That's a thing.
What, bad issues cause racism? No! Hitler's dad was a prick.
I mean, you never know. He wasn't supportive enough of this.
So
I'm not even
I
gonna
ended
go
it.
down that fucking
Imagine
road.
this happening in the middle of the session.
Help me.
Anyway, so 14th is the next session. Next week you will hear episode 1 of Silence with Scarrow and Slasher. You can have fun with that.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with that.
And I love that you've mentioned somebody and I gone, why do I know that description? Oh, it's because they were in the fucking Silence one. Oh shit.
Sorry, is it that was not a spoiler at all for.
No, I know. I'm not said who it was. Or what it
Just
was.
stop talking.
Just saying. I was like flicking back through my notes and I was like, why can't I find this? Oh, different notebook in it.
You're really chatting when you're.
Anywho, we're gonna go and get Hannah and Adam to bed.
Yeah.
Adam's gonna have pizza in bed.
Yes!
I might have a fish finger sandwich.
Ooh, nice.
These guys
Save
are
my
living their
life.
best lives.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
And if you're enjoying this, remember, it's
Right
just
here.
you owning your king.
I
Pizza.
can't believe that's become like the podcast
Pizza in bed.
tagline.
Owning your king.
We need to add it on there.
Cool, I'll do that. Pizza in bed, own your kink.
Anyway, bye for now.
Bye.